Washington football addicts, baby. Let's go. Washington football addicts. We've been repping for years. Always keeping it real. It's Rod, Steve, Devin, Phil. We talking about latest deals and what goes on the field and happenings with the team. So listen if you a fiend.
What's going on, Washington football addicts? It's your boy Rod. Happy to be back, and we are in the studio for Pod 88. So you know how we kick off things around here with the addicts. I'm going to kick it to the social media pariah, Phil, to introduce the pod. So, Phil, go ahead, man.
Pod number 88. We get to dedicate this pod to a receiver who was a key part of some near playoff teams, some teams that had a lot of potential, didn't quite get over that hump. Of course, you know we're talking about Danny Bugs. No, I'm just kidding. We're talking about Pierre Garcon.
Yay, baby, let's go.
Double eights. No disrespect to Danny Bugs, but the true 88 with this franchise is Pierre Garcon. Of course, the single season record holder for the franchise for a number of receptions in a season. 5 years with the squad, 376 catches during that time, 21 touchdowns, including some of the most memorable catches of the past decade and a half for this franchise, at least. No, let's say past 2 decades at least. With some of the receptions, his one-handed grabs against the Chargers in 2013, his touchdown grab to ice the division against the Eagles in 2015, him catching Bobby Griff's first touchdown pass with that beautiful leaping catch over the middle and then just taking it the rest of the way while injured.
Yes.
Y'all know the man. Y'all know the man. I don't need to go into it any more than that. It's Pierre Garcon, baby, number 88.
Let's go. So I'm gonna click the little banner. Welcome back, Pierre Garcon, the great 88. Let's go. Look at the man's name.
Yeah.
It just says 88.
It's my pleasure, man. Happy to be back on.
Definitely, man. Definitely. And Phil, you always bring the smoke, man, with those great intros, and definitely appreciate that. So, who that? We got the New Orleans Saints, week 5, 2-2. And Phil, you just introduced the pod, and you spoke a little bit about some of the great plays that Pierre Garcon made. So I'm gonna kick it real quick to a play that you just spoke about. And Pierre, once we come back from the video, you can kind of talk about that a little bit.
All right.
And we're going to go forward about where we feel with this franchise. So here we go, fellas.
Robert Griffin III, 6 for 6 on the Redskins' first possession. He fires downfield. He's now 7 for 7 as Garcon breaks free. Pierre Garcon.
Rumble, young man, rumble.
88 yards to number 88 for the first.
Listen, I can still watch that play, and it feels like I'm watching live in real time. Pierre, I was in Germany, man, when that went down. I was stationed overseas. It was crazy late in the evening, and I lost my mind. And I still, every time I see that play, it's special, man. It's special, and it's so dope to have you with us this evening. So again, man, Pierre, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well, man. I cannot complain. Honored. Always enjoy talking Washington football with you guys, man, with some real football addicts.
Definitely, man. And you know, I seen a comment on Twitter, and somebody said, you know, I love Pierre Garcon. Like, he still refers to us as we. Mm-hmm. So where's your heart lie with the teams? I mean, you play for the Colts, the Skins football team, and then the Niners. Where does your loyalty lie?
Lies for Washington, man. You know, Washington.
Yes.
Washington gave me an identity, and you know, I was like honored to have that opportunity. So I was like, all right, this is who wants me. You know, Indianapolis wanted me at first, but you know, I was learning. Now Washington was like, hey, come support us, come help us. And I was like, yes, like I want to. Like I want to be Reggie. I want to be Marvin. I want to be the leader of my team. You know, I want to be that guy. So, you know, they gave me the opportunity and the support from the fans. Like, you know, you guys still support me. You know, they still, the love is still there, and we all love each other. So it's like, man, you know, it's definitely home. It's always feel home. No matter when I'm back in DC, when I'm even in Florida, they're like, hey, you remember you from Washington? I was like, yes, you know. That's life.
Definitely, man. So we kind of want to get your thoughts on Jameis Winston, quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. So you played football. We know you're a fan of the team, but you have to look at games all across the league. What do you think about Jameis Winston, what he's going to bring against our squad for Week 5?
Man, Jameis Winston. Week 5, I hope he doesn't bring his A game because, you never know what you're going to get with Jameis Winston. That's the thing with Jameis Winston. That's why you can't put enough trust into him. But he has potential to be good. Like that first week, he lit it up.
Yes.
And, he goes back to something else, but – if Chase Young and those guys on the D line get to him, we can definitely get some interceptions thrown our way.
Yeah, man, definitely. So, Steve, you got anything to kick in, man, to Mr. 88?
Yeah. So Pierre, well, welcome back, man.
Yes,
first and foremost. So we were talking quarterback. We were talking Jameis.
Mm-hmm.
Who else do you like in New Orleans? We always we call this episode Enemy Intel when we look at the next team that we're going to play. They got Alvin Kamara, they got some folks.
They got that receiver number 1. I don't know his name, but I know he's been doing well. He's been catching the deep balls from Jameis, actually. Alvin Kamara's Alvin Kamara, but they have a receiver. I haven't been watching because these games are regional and we don't get all the games down here in South Florida, but they have some weapons, and those big plays can hurt a team more than those nickel and dimes.
Yeah, you're stuck to Miami and Jacksonville, huh?
Right, in Tampa,
in Tampa,
right
there.
You're talking about Marquez Callaway.
He's been going deep. He's been going deep. He's been helping Jameis Winston a lot.
Yeah, man,
and they've always had a solid. The Saints always had a solid defense. They got Malcolm Jenkins there, and the DB that's very good. I don't know his name, but I think he just plays one side. But he's solid. But the Saints I think they're rebuilding instead of being the old Saints that we know.
Right.
Deb, I think you said you want to ask something of Pierre before we start recording. I know you're muted right now. He's kind of being quiet and shy. What's up, baby? What you got?
I forgot what was I going to ask him?
You said you wanted to ask him something about Urban Meyer.
Oh yeah, man! Bow, bow, bow. So, what do you think about Urban Meyer, man? You think he lasts?
Since you're local,
he will last. He will last. He's a great coach. Obviously, I don't think anybody expected him to be 3-0. Coming out of college with a rookie quarterback, but there's growing pains. When I came to DC with a young quarterback, we were 1-2, I think, to start the year, or 1-3, 1-4. So he's on track to be going through growing pains right now. But it's just the league. But they have good players in Jacksonville, and it's at the wrong place at the wrong time, getting caught out. Somebody was just recording them, and it's unfortunate, but it happens all the time.
Yeah, that's what I said. It happens all the time. I'm like, man, y'all tripping.
And if they were 3-0, I think the he wouldn't even be out, or it wouldn't even matter as much. But
imagine if Jay Gruden was still the offensive coordinator. I mean, no.
Hey, coaches gotta have a release too. Coaches gotta.
Man, I got 2 or 3 releases. Like Tiger had like 16 releases.
We're all stressed out in that building, man, because we know what we want to do for the city, for the team, for the organization. We want to win, and like watching film, you can only watch so much film. You're going to study so much plays. Like after a while, like if the ball don't bounce your way, you got to have an outlet somewhere, some other kind of way. We're all humans.
Anyone coaching Jacksonville right now would be 0-4 too. I don't care.
Yeah.
They can dig Vince Lombardi up. Have
Bill Belichick goes down there. He's still be losing. Like
you can have him a D coordinator and Gibbs as offensive coordinator. Man, they gonna go 0-4.
Like it's not easy. It is not easy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But they played a great game on Thursday night. They played a great game. Like it was close, and I think they were leading most of the game, and they end up losing. But that's what probably hurts the most.
Hey, Pierre, we got a question from the chat, man. So one of the fans, T Ho, he asked about what do you think about the tight end we just signed, Jay Sternberger? What do you think about him? So he came from the Packers, a second-year player, like 116 yards, a couple receptions in the league. Not discounting his talent. The NFL is extremely hard. to playing. But do you know anything about him? Have you seen or anything?
I did not,
Okay.
man. I just did see was Logan hurt his hamstring. Hurt his hamstring and stuff like that. Sucks, and that's a 1 month injury, and it's delicate with hamstring injuries because you never know when you can really push it, and you don't ever really think you're back at full speed coming back from that injury because you don't want to go backwards and forward instead of forward because you're pushing it too hard or too soon.
So we talked about Jameis Winston, but let's talk about our quarterback because we're in a bit of an interesting situation. All right, so we've now got to see a few games of Taylor Heineke, and I'd said after the Giants game that he had earned the right to audition for the job, and we saw kind of a pedestrian performance against the Bills. Pedestrians being generous. He had some bad throws in that game. But then he had a pretty good game against the Falcons. Let me get your opinions on Heineke. And I know you played with two of the more notable quarterbacks for this franchise in recent years with Robert Griffin III and Kirk Cousins. And it seems like Heineke plays a very different style than either one of those guys. So I just kind of want to get an idea of what you thought of Heineke and how he compares to the last two, quote unquote, franchise quarterbacks that we had.
Honestly, I haven't I didn't see the Atlanta game. I'm surprised that they won. That I was thinking that they were down most of the game, and then they came back. I didn't see it. I was away because we were still in the regional part of the country or whatnot. Yeah. But he plays with a lot of heart. He plays with a lot of confidence. He throws the ball well. Like the touchdown pass that he threw to tie the game, I think, or to go take the lead in the Thursday night game, which was a national game that I could see. It was he throws the ball very well. So he has confidence in his arm. He has a strong enough arm. He's not afraid of anything. He's not afraid to take any hits, and he stands in the pocket to make the plays for his team. That's what I see, but I haven't really watched every game to diagnose it. There's only one thing that I did see on that Thursday night game that it was more of familiarity with
McLaurin?
Terry.
Terry.
I was gonna say I don't know say the first name or the last name, but it's a familiarity with that, what made the interception because he knew where he was going the whole time, but the DB jumped it because he saw his eyes and all this and that, and Terry was kind of trying to set the pick for the linebacker. It was just unfamiliar with each other. That was just a bit of hesitation because they haven't played enough with them. It's his second game being inserted into the into the system, or not into the system, but actually being familiar with those guys. Not enough reps with Terry on that play. But I haven't watched that much, but I've seen a lot, and he throws it very, very well. He throws inspired, throws a good ball for the receivers, and as a unexperienced quarterback, that's what you can ask for. Throw it with confidence because we'll do the rest for you.
Yeah. Now,
hold on. Let me piggyback off that question real quick. As a receiver yourself, do you see the ball he throws? And you look at it and you go, man, I could catch 100 balls every year with that guy. I mean, do you have that?
He's throwing it hard. Yeah, he's throwing it hard. He's it's definitive. Some guys throw it where it's a rainbow, or it's wobbly, it's not sure. He throws it it's intended for you and it's coming to you. And that's
you like going up for balls because he likes to throw that ball high because he's kind of short. He seems to try to.
He complained about that for years.
You can't expect the perfect ball. Once he gets his experience and once he gets his timing down and get everything, it'll get better. But he's on to a great start.
Who's your best ball? Who threw you? Who is your who was the? In your opinion, of all the questions, who threw the best? Not saying who's the best quarterback, just who threw the best ball that you felt like I can catch this ball. You know what I'm talking about? Not the best quarterback, best ball.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Peyton Manning, bro.
And when I was part of Peyton's later career, but Curtis Payton would throw the hardest, tightest spiral ball than me, and there was no decisiveness if it was coming to you or not. You knew that ball was a heat-seeking missile and it was coming to you, and you had to catch it. And it was easier to catch a tight spiral coming straight at you. There's no, second guessing it. He's looking at you in the eyes, the ball's looking at you in the eyes, and you know it's coming to you.
One thing
Yeah,
I
That was
noticed,
paid back
you're
when
throwing a
you had the injury,
fastball.
right?
If you're throwing a fastball at me, I have no choice but to catch it, or it's gonna hit my hands or whatever.
Yeah.
But when it's like a wobbly, like, do you really mean to throw it to me? Because we're waiting on the ball to come, and the longer it takes, the defender is closing on us.
one thing I noticed you said earlier about you was breaking down some of the plays you saw and you noticed. Is it hard for you to like enjoy football? Because I hear musicians say a lot since they know how to break down music and how samples work and how loops work, that it's hard to listen to music. Is it hard for you to see, especially bad football? Is it like
No, it's not hard because you want the guys to do well because you know how hard it is to get there. You know how hard it is to make plays, and when it works out well, you're like, yes, that's how it's supposed to look. When it works out bad, it's like, damn, they got to practice that a little bit more, or they're not on the same page because football is not hard. It's just like if everybody's on the same page together, we can make it all look good.
Hey, Pierre. So, question for you, man. Do you have any desire to get back into the game, like maybe like a coach or a commentator, anything like that?
A player.
Well, I
Or player, yeah.
not a player.
you play linebacker?
I did talk about going to play safety because those guys, the defenders, they play a lot longer than offensive players. They can run around and just hit. They don't have to like literally run plays. They can just literally, it's a free fall. But I would love to talk more football because I enjoy the game. I enjoy watching the game and enjoy helping with the game. I enjoy developing the talent because it's if you're taught the right way, you can understand football. If you're just like, hey, just be a 4-2 guy and just run super fast, it can only last so long.
Yeah, the homie Tijo says, hey, he misses you, man. He wants you to be one of our linebacker or wide receiver coach. So you talk about hitting.
Man, coaching is totally different in the league. It's very time consuming. A lot of film watching, a lot of communication.
Not according to Urban Meyer, it's not. You got a lot of free time,
But they had a Thursday night game, so they were off. The team was off. We need a break away from the office, from the building.
Man, he pulled an old school tactic too. He was like when you're leaving the club with your friends and you see that one girl you been trying to holler at all day, and you be like, "Come on, let's go to the car." Like, I'll catch up with y'all. That's what he did with his team. He's like, "I'm getting on a plane to go back to Jacksonville. I'll catch up with y'all."
So here, actually, a good question from Tijo. He asked, "What year did you retire?" And I don't recall any official retirement from you. So
not yet.
Did that happen?
Yet.
Y'all not gonna make this guy come back, man.
No, it's a valid question. I'm Googling it as Tijo's asking. I'm like, you know what? I haven't seen an official, declaration of, hey, I'm retired from the game.
I had a date. Something came up on that date, and then I'll pick another date, but I haven't officially there. But yeah, does
that mean you're
coming back?
So there's no chance of you coming back, though.
1%.
1%. Okay, so you're keeping that retirement declaration in the back pocket just in case you get a phone call.
You're gonna be like Bobby 3 Sticks. Make that call, Ron. Ron, make that call.
I can still run. I can still give you some blades.
There you go.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man.
I believe
be better than AGG at 70.
Be perfectly honest with you. I do believe that Pierre could go out here and after a couple weeks be in 4.4 speed shape. Unlike Dev, who once told us that he could run 4.5, he could do 4.6 if he trained for a month.
I could do it, man. Look. Don't let the man boobs fool you, And I was like, I was an All-American in college. Track, I ran a 4.32, so I was fast. I was a fast dude. You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
that was before the man boobs. Before the man boobs,
I could still get away from the cops if I had to.
That's about the only person you need to run from now.
Right. Yeah, right.
Hey, so I think Shy Guns is a Packers fan, but he's asking what team is out there is the most surprising team that's the most fun to watch. So, Pierre, I'll kick it to you.
The most fun to watch right now, honestly, is Arizona. I knew Kyler Murray was going to be good, but now they're putting weapons around him with A.J. Green and DeAndre Hopkins. But, I'm happy he's doing well with his arm and his legs, and they're 4-0 too, especially in a tough division where
look like he's 25 again out there.
Yeah, his MVP voting is going up, or at least MVP predictions for Kyler Murray. So definitely
give it to him. He should be a leader.
It's fun to see what Cliff Kingsbury is doing out there, though, man. He, like you said, he had a vision, and it was crazy because was it Rosen who they drafted, and then immediately the next year they get Murray, and NFL circles, at least fans, maybe the NFL circles not as much, but fans are like, they're crazy. What are they doing? Like, that's a waste of a pick. And yeah, they're looking very good, looking like they saw the future for sure.
What future do you see Heineke having? Whether it be here or anywhere else, do you see him as he could probably getting a chance to earn that long term, or you see him as just a backup?
That's a great question. You know what plays a big factor in that is the season that he has coming up. Like, well, obviously the season that he's in right now, and how much hype this college quarterback that's coming out of college. Because if you're obviously in the first 5 picks, they're going to want you to pick a quarterback. But if he takes, to the middle of the round, like if the Washington team is picking like 20th or 30th, 20th or, between 15th and 20th, and they might not pick a quarterback. But he obviously has to perform to that, where we're not picking first, second, or third, fourth, fifth, Yeah,
and dude, NFL Network, they have us listed as a contender at 2-2. And just looking at their predictions, they say, hey, Washington makes the playoffs in 51% of a simulation. So it's not necessarily 75%, 80%, but they're saying that we're a legitimate contender with Taylor Heineke, I guess. So
he's helping. It's just, it's a long season. Like this is our audition. This is audition for a contract. This is audition for everything. Like, what he does is going to dictate.
I'm like, why not? I'm not saying he's going to be, Tom Brady or nothing like that. But I'm like, why not? Everybody's like, well, he's just like Fitz. Well, Fitz failed for you to say he's just like Fitz. This guy hasn't really failed yet. Give him a chance to crash and burn like this before you say that.
This is his chance. Like, we're literally in the moment of his chance right now. And depending on what he does with it, which is like, honestly, it's not fair to him because, he wasn't prepared for it. But, everybody in the NFL is like waiting for that moment to be the starter. Now you have it. Like, the time is not gonna wait for you to get prepared for it. Like, you should already be ready for it. That's where the next man up situation has always been a mindset. Like, hey, it takes one play for you to be the next man up.
Yeah, and it's crazy, bro. So like, I was like 13 years old, man. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this before in a pod that you were on with us, but like, I saw Kurt Warner playing for the Iowa Barnstormers in arena football. Like, he came to Connecticut, and I legit remember telling my dad, like, this guy could be in the NFL. Like, his release is so quick, but he flew under the radar for a couple of years. And as a homer, as a fan of the team that just wants them to finally strike gold, I'm super hopeful and praying. And like, hey, did we get this dude who was studying mathematics last year off the street, comes in, plays a wild card game against, the eventual Super Bowl champs, does really well, probably played the Bucs the best out of any team that played them in the playoffs last year. And then he comes in for an injured Ryan Fitzpatrick after week 1 halftime. And we're 2-2 after 4 weeks. And I'll take that, man. Like, it's not perfect. It's not where I'd want to be. I'd much rather be 4-0 or 3-1 or something like that. But seeing someone potentially emerge, it's a feel-good story. He has everyone diving for the pylons. If you saw J.D. McKissick's highlight to end the game, diving for the pylon. Gibson had to dive at the pylon. So I like Heineke's aggressiveness. It reminds me somewhat of Griffin in 2012. But not to talk bad about Griffin or anything, I think that Pat Taylor plays with less reckless abandonment of his body. He's a little bit smarter with sliding and protecting himself. So I hope we got someone good, man. It's been far too long. We keep searching for the guy. Like you said, if he gets us in that draft pick of 20 to 25, to me, I think that means, okay, like we found someone that could get us to the playoffs. Let's kind of potentially build around this dude. And it doesn't mean you don't have to draft a quarterback, but you got something to grow with, moving forward. So.
Hey, man, I know you said you saw Kurt, but I saw Jay Gruden in college. He was a dog. I'm telling you, man. I'm a Louisville fan too.
I watched Jay Gruden in college too with the Tampa Bay Storm. He was playing the indoor league.
The Storm,
I remember Jay Gruden.
Hey, Jay's the greatest Louisville quarterback ever, next to like Teddy Bridgewater and Lamar. It's Jay. Go look it up on YouTube, man. That dude's the GOAT down here, man. He's like a legend.
But he was a legend with secretaries too. You know, ask Capri Bibbs.
There we go.
Oh man.
Hey, Pierre.
Funny thing is, I know Capri.
You do? You went to another guy. Let's finish that.
JD McKissick, all those guys. Those are running backs that are receiver type running backs, and you got to get used more because JD, he's definitely an advantage for the Washington football team because he can play receiver, he can put guys in mismatch, so they got to use him more. And I'm happy to see him doing well, as well as DeAndre Carter. I know DeAndre very well. I'm happy to see him finally take one to the house because that guy works very, very hard, and he was on the team with me in San Francisco. So I'm happy he's getting the opportunity to show what he can really do.
I think that JD McKissick is what we always wanted Chris Thompson to be, but he was always battling injuries, and we love Chris. He had one great year. He was just phenomenal, but he was always, one something, little something. But we talked about the Robert Griffin catch up front. Robert Griffin first touchdown pass that you took to the house for 88 yards. At the end of the play, I have two questions. You were shaking your hand and you were saying, come on, what happened? Did you injure your hand or your foot on that play? I can't remember.
It was my foot.
Your foot. Okay.
Foot.
Yeah. Okay. I thought so.
It was that.
And then, so my personal favorite catch of yours is not that one. It's, if you remember the Code Red game, it was the play, the touchdown. You ran the hardest slant I've ever seen, and it was, to me, it's one of the most vicious catches. And then I thought you got folded over, and you popped right up. And I'm gonna flip it right here so we can rehash this. All right, hold on.
To the bottom of your picture. Just a half a minute remaining. Looking that way. The pass is caught. Touchdown to Garcon.
That play right there to me is my personal favorite catch.
Oh, you couldn't see it?
I didn't see it.
Oh, you didn't see it?
I didn't see it.
Show it again.
I'll try it again.
To the bottom of your picture. Just a half a minute remaining. Looking that way. The pass is caught. Touchdown to Garcon.
You see it that time?
I see it now.
He saw it.
That was the Code Red game. We thought the season was over, and that won the game. I think it was 22-20 at that point. That was the first time in my personal watching, that was the first time I thought I saw Kirk Cousins ever throw the ball with anticipation, because he threw that ball before you even broke. You caught the ball, you extended.
We
I thought you were going to fold up at the end, and you bounced right back up.
We went over that play so many times. It was not a discussion of who the balls went to. We knew what coverage the Eagles was going to play. That the DB knew what coverage we were going to play. That's why he left Chris Thompson to come to me, because we saw the mismatch. We saw the disadvantage. They were on cover zero, all out blitz, 5 yard out, catch it, bang, bang play. And it was like already knew the play before the play was going to happen. Just catch the ball and you're in the end zone. Like, it's a 5 yard. We're 5 yards away. You got to get in the end zone. Chris Thompson's supposed to keep the guy from, coming back to me to hit me in the neck. But, I knew I was going to get hit. We actually did a great job of that the week of the game to prepare for that. We didn't know it was going to come in that moment. We didn't know it was going to come at the last moment. But we knew that play was going to come once we lined up in that formation on offense.
That's fascinating.
And we enjoyed that night. We enjoyed that night.
Oh, man.
We enjoyed that night.
Urban Meyer style? No.
Better. Even better.
Even better because you can get told on. That's why it's better.
Right. Because it was Philadelphia. It was a divisional game, and they were right there. And, it was one of those games where we're like, yes. And D-Jack was there. Everybody was there because, it was like a divisional game. It's like it was a rivalry. Yeah. So it was like, hey, we couldn't wait to beat these guys, and we beat them on the last play at home. So we're going to celebrate this, even though,
y'all go out to somewhere like DC, or y'all go like the Ashburn. Where would y'all go?
We stayed in
general.
DC that night.
Okay,
We stayed in
gotcha.
DC that night.
Yeah, it's just
we were
easier.
celebrating.
I got a
We
few
stayed
ideas
in
where
DC.
you could have caught him that night. I got a few
I can tell you too, off camera. That's where he went. I mean,
That's the key. That's the key.
right.
He was in that VIP section where you got to put your phone in the basket before you even walk in.
Yeah. It was a great
Hey,
time,
Pete.
but I enjoyed that catch.
So, question for you, man. What type of music do you listen to? Are you a hip hop guy, a country guy, pop?
Lil Baby, Drake. Well, back in the day, Jeezy, Future, Rick Ross, Tupac for sure. Tupac is always on the playlist. But trying to keep up with the modern day stuff, But
It's hard.
I told my homie the other day I didn't like Jeezy. He got so mad. I think Jeezy's a dope artist.
The OG.
I like Jeezy's a dope artist. I just don't like his voice.
Oh man, Jeezy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason I asked you that question, this is the first time in a while that we've seen like mainly a hip hop, lineup. So we got Dre, Snoop, Eminem, Mary J, and Kendrick Lamar for the Super Bowl halftime entertainment, man. How do you feel about that? Like as players, like I'm gonna call it is what it is. Like I look at the league, and the league is predominantly African American, players of black players. And I assume that they listen to hip hop and rap and R&B and stuff like that. But halftime has always been, man, whatever. Shut up. My mama's white. I say what I want. But typically, the halftime show is music that they may or may not listen to. So when you see that lineup, and I know Jay-Z's working with the league and in the front office, the league office, and trying to get some diversity with talent. How do you feel about this? And it's just a halftime show, but how do you feel about that as a fan now of the game, seeing something different at halftime?
I think it's cool. They're definitely doing it because it's LA. Definitely, like you said, it's rap and hip hop, like they did in Miami, where they had J-Lo and the Spanish culture, taking over. I think it's one of those things where they're trying to, expand the game to different people, but I guess cater to the community that they're into as well, because they need the support. But it's awesome for opportunities like Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, and Kendrick Lamar, especially Kendrick Lamar. Last year the Weeknd did a very good job, and it exploded. So those guys getting the opportunities to perform at the halftime will be a career changer for all of them. And I think everybody in the league knows Dre. They might not listen to him now, but it's obviously respecting Snoop Dogg. He's a legend forever.
Until somebody pulls out a nipple, then it's all over.
Well, they have nothing to worry about with that. It might be one of the dancers.
Keep Janet Jackson far away from that.
AT and Janet. That's right.
So, what has been your favorite halftime entertainment? Just like as a player, well, yeah, I guess
As a player, we don't get to see the halftime. We just know it's a lot longer.
Yeah.
The Weeknd did a good job because I'm a fan of the Weeknd. I'd go to a Weeknd concert anytime I went when he was in DC and went when he was in California. So that was a good one because his music is, well-rounded. But it's hard. I can't remember who had the best.
Rolling Stone did a top 25. I'm gonna tell you our top 32 of all the Super Bowls since they started counting Super Bowl after shows. The Black Eyed Peas were the worst one on their list, and then after that it was like anything between like 1970 something and 1980. They had like the New Kids on here. They got Patti LaBelle. They got a bunch of people. She was in top 10, I think.
Yeah, she did. She made New Orleans. It was in New Orleans. Did Michael Jackson have one? That was probably
Michael Jackson had the first big one. Like
Pierre, don't make us seem like old men on the pod. You don't remember Michael Jackson, dog? What?
What city was that Super Bowl in?
That was in LA. That was in.
I think it was LA as well. Yeah.
Yeah, if it was in LA. LA didn't have a team for a while when I was coming up.
Hey, to me, man, like second to MJ, I thought Bruno Mars killed it a couple years ago, man. Good. I loved his halftime performance.
I still say Prince had the best one. Prince, Michael
he
Jackson
is the number one. Rolling Stones was in Minnesota. Rolling Stones number one.
Prince was in
that was
Minnesota.
my second favorite.
Prince was good. Yeah, I do remember Prince, Minnesota. It was
then
good.
Beyonce.
I do. Yeah, and then Beyonce. I do remember Beyonce in New Orleans. Yeah, I enjoyed those. Yeah.
I want Kanye West to get one.
Kanye?
No, that was
he
nuts.
has a good show, though. He has a good show. He has a good show, man.
they won't ever have a Super Bowl in Chicago because it's so cold. So that might not be in the cards.
They get a dome.
If they have one out in Calabasas, he'll do it.
LA is not as close as they get to Calabasas. He might come out.
So T-Ho definitely T-Ho's in his feelings, man, with nostalgia this evening, man. He loves that trio from 2016. Yourself, D-Jack, and Jay Crowder.
Oh, Jameson's still doing well. He just scored this past weekend.
He is, man.
He's doing the damn thing. And they're going to London. They're going to London soon. So hopefully they continue to ball out.
So you know what? T-Ho gave y'all your own nickname. So he called y'all the Three-Headed Hydra. So I like that. We all know the fun bunch, you know.
Dogs, huh?
But I'll take it, man. I'll take it.
Oh, we had a good team. We had a very, very good team. And then we had Jay Reed. He was doing very good. He helped us out a lot too, man. We had a good team. We didn't make enough plays for the quarterbacks.
We didn't have enough power on defense though to balance it out. I think at that point, you got offense was doing pretty well.
Well, they say the best defense is a great offense, right?
True, very true. Yes, sir.
We had Fletcher. We had London Fletcher. You know,
yeah.
We had London
QB,
Fletcher.
the captain.
Who was your worst teammate? Who'd you like? Man, I wish this dude was never on the team. He was terrible.
Worst team.
Put the man on the spot with that one.
Yo, man, you trying?
But you stay away from the worst teammates.
You can't say Jay Gruden either because I'm a Louisville fan.
I'll say Jay Gruden.
You stay away from the worst teammates. The one that give you the hardest time. Let me see. It was mostly defenders because you normally go through against them in practice.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say like off the field. I wouldn't say they were the worst because off the field, everybody's different from on the field. But we would hate to practice against D-Hall. We never knew what mood he'd be in. We never knew because you want to get some work in, but sometimes he might want to practice, he might not want to practice, and you're like, bro, are you going hard today? Because I'm not trying to embarrass you, but I'm not trying to make it look like I'm lacking days. Because if he's not going hard, the coach is like, all right, D-Hall, you're tired, you're a vet, But if the guy that's going against him not giving D-Hall a good look, the guy that's not giving him a good look gets in trouble. And D-Hall's like, hey man, chill today, like slow down, cause we're like, respect. So you gonna show up on Sunday, so you D-Hall so it's like, bro, I'm not trying to go hard, but the coach is over me like, hey, you got to show effort and energy throughout practice. Like, all right, bro, because the younger guys don't know what to do because he'll get mad at the younger guys, and the younger guys are like, bro, I'm not trying to piss off D-Hall.
My coach used to tell me if you don't go hard, you're gonna pull something or tear something. And then what happened? What happened against Hopkins? Practice.
Man, I played offensive line for a team that ran the ball 99% of the time. You had to go hard. Coaches would find somebody else to put it in there.
Man, on the offensive line. On the offensive line, it's easier. Offensive defense line, you like, hey, I'm just hit you. But at receiver and like at DB, like you're going hard is like how fast you run. How much effort you put into blocking, and you're like, bro, the play's not even next to me. Why are you blocking me so hard? And that's what he'll tell you. Like, bro, I'm like, you know what? I just got to show that I'm in position. That my coach don't get mad at me. I'm not trying to make you look bad. But
everybody got guaranteed. Everybody got guaranteed contracts, bro.
They're like, bro, like, hey man, just because he can not go as hard, but I gotta show that I'm going hard.
What do you think about Kyrie?
What's going on with Kyrie? I heard
they're saying now the state law says he can't be in the stadium or even practice because he's not vaccinated.
Hey man,
there's like 3 states, I guess, that won't let you even go into the stadium. So now the Nets have a guy that can't even play games in New York, New Jersey area at all.
Hey man,
so
that's out of my
does
jurisdiction.
He get the vaccine?
I can't tell nobody get the vaccine. I can't tell the state what to do. Listen, hey,
I'm just wondering, like,
I'm glad it's not me.
I'm just wondering, like, man, if you're the Nets, what do you do, man? Like,
Well, they already told Kyrie because Kyrie was like, why don't we just move practices out of the state? We'll move the practice somewhere else. Steve Nash said, we're not doing that. We're not going to move practice to accommodate you.
That's a whole.
Hey Pierre, real quick. Did you ever? So we had two big releases this week. The Cowboys released Jalen Smith, 2 Pro Bowlers, and then Stephon Gilmore. Did you ever play against Stephon Gilmore as a wide receiver? Did you ever against the Patriots?
I don't think. I'm sure he was out there, but I don't know. Honestly.
Yeah.
But we
They were just a
trained
bunch of
together. He was
banter.
an XPE. He was an XPE Sports where we trained in the off season. It was a great guy. I think we played, but I can't really confirm or remember because those guys stay on one side of the ball. But I'm sure he was out there.
It's hard when you're running past people, don't catching touchdowns anyway. Man.
We didn't always play the Patriots, so it wasn't like
I know.
Yeah.
It wasn't every year we played them. But he wasn't there when I played against them against the Colts.
Let's talk about some Speed Aid compression socks, right?
Yes,
I got a story to share with you. You know, so I ride.
You got to tell me your feedback. You guys got to tell me your feedback.
Yep, I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm a motorcycle rider. Thank you so much for sending us the socks. We shared that Amazon code far and wide. Thank you for that discount.
I have
code.
to run another one.
Yeah,
man.
let's go. So I ride my motorcycle a very long ways. I rode, this year I did DC to Atlanta, DC Savannah. I'm about to go to DC to South Carolina.
That's a beautiful ride.
It is. And I'm telling you, I wore these socks, and there's something when you ride a motorcycle, you get very fatigued in your leg because you're sitting down, you get these pressure points on your ass, and you just can't get comfortable. I now wear these. I'm wearing these white socks now. I have a white and a navy blue pair, the high top ones, and I wear them every time I ride, especially long distance, because my legs just feel. I don't feel fatigued. Like, I don't know if it's because it restricts the blood flow and it's keeping everything where it needs to be in place, but I'm telling you, as a motorcycle rider, and I put it on Instagram and tagged you guys, like, these things are legit. I'm trying to tell every other MC rider that I know of, like, you got to get a pair of these because it's on point. I'm going to South Carolina this weekend. Yes, they do help tremendously. And
so, you know what's crazy? On that first RG3 touchdown pass, that's where I hurt my foot at. And I was like, man, like, I need to do whatever it takes to get on the field. And we have to fly all the time. And the trainer's like, hey, you got to wear compression socks so the swelling goes down and so the blood flow for healing. It was all of that. And that's how I really got into it. It was like, I got to do what the trainer's saying because I need to play. And I'm happy it's working out for you, man. The quality is good, and that's what we, stand on. And we're just trying to, push it out more and more and more to grow. Because I'm working with podiatrists, especially in the DC area. I need to team up with some podiatrists to get it in their office so they can provide for their patients.
I think I got one.
I'll go to the doctors in Washington.
You gonna talk about Mr. Vermillion? Don't do it. Leave him alone.
I heard the story, but I don't know exactly what happened because when you're not in the building, you don't know everything.
Right.
So
I was gonna say I do a lot of lifting until I hurt my back with poor form, but I did the same thing as with Steve. I hate leg days. I'm a dude who everything's really tight. So I get cramped up and pulls often, right? Especially my calves. My calves are tighter than hell. And I started wearing the compression socks every leg day. I never had that issue with cramping or muscle pull and things like that. I'm not NFL strength levels here, but I mean, I can squat 380, 390, and I'm doing a lot of calf raises and deadlifts and things like that, and it's amazing how there's no feeling of that same feeling of that feeling when you're about to cramp up and you feel like there's that bolt that's about to jab right into your calf. None of that.
That's awesome, man. That makes me happy.
Fantastic product, y'all.
I appreciate
everybody watching. You got to get some out.
I appreciate it. And I literally, when the trainers were like, hey, you got to wear these on the plane, I was like, these are comfortable. And I started wearing them in games. I was like, I love the support. I got to wear these in games because it's so comfortable to wear them. I was like, hey, I got to. Do y'all have more of these? That's what I was like, because I need these. So I'm happy you guys are enjoying them, man. I'm trying to keep it growing.
I wore them on an assembly line for 10 hours.
There you go. Boom.
Yeah.
I got a podiatrist. Man. I have a good friend who's a podiatrist in Savannah. We'll get with you after this, and then
put me in contact with him,
Savannah.
We
absolutely.
We definitely do more conversation, man. Because I'm learning. It's definitely a new venture for me. It's just like golf. I'm learning everything as I go, and it's fun while I grow it.
Yeah, man. So my testimony, I'm still an active duty soldier, man, and whenever I wear my boots, it's just the cotton socks that we have. So whenever we go we call them warfighter exercises, and my job now is I serve as like an observer, coach, and trainer. So I talk to folks about what they should be doing. Here's some of the regulations they should look at. But at the end of the day, I'm standing up. It's like a 12-hour shift. We're just walking around. And the cotton socks, I would swell up. My legs would swell. Since I do wear, no bullshit, y'all, I legitimately wear the Speed 8 compression socks. They're against our regs right now. They got logos and stuff on them. So if somebody was like, hey, remove your boot, I'm going to get in trouble. But whatever.
Honestly,
it helps me.
Honestly, I appreciate it. Honestly, I just got approved by the government to, do contracts with the government. So we was working on that for a long time. So we got that. Yeah. I was trying to get all these.
Yes.
I've been trying to get all these patents and stuff. And then you said you were in Germany. I went on a USO tour and I went to Afghanistan a long time ago. Well, like 2013, I went to Afghanistan. Yeah, well, but it was like legit. I was legit in Afghanistan on a USO tour, which was so cool. But it was the guys from like the West Coast instead of the guys from the East Coast, and it was like the Marines and stuff like that. But it was cool, and I was like, oh man, I'm in Afghanistan. And like there was some Washington football fans at the time, but it was very, very cool. So we appreciate you, man, and I see what you guys went through out there, and I was like, man, this is different.
Yeah, I appreciate your product, man. And hey, we got a question from Chris Blow in the comments, man. But he wants to know about your training with Anquan Bolden. So how has that been throughout the years? I know you guys are both out the league, but do you still train together or just keep in shape?
Anquan is still training. I don't know why he's still training, but he's still training. His son plays basketball and football and different sports, but he loves training. He trains a lot of guys when they come down for the off-season. XP Sports, where Stephen Gilmore and all those other guys come train in off-season. But he still is in shape. He's still working out. He enjoys it, man. He's going to go into the Hall of Fame soon. So, I don't work out as much. I work on my golf game now because, I'm trying to be competitive in that.
Yeah, that's right.
But Anquan is definitely one of the guys I looked up to when he was playing. He made me enjoy watching football. He played quarterback, receiver, and he was a beast. He's from Palm Beach County. And, just watching a guy like that, it was always a blessing to see a good person do well.
So, Pierre, so you're working on golf now. I think the first time we ever spoke to you, you were leaving like a bowling tournament.
Yeah.
So okay, so you're very busy. You're athletically gifted. Obviously, you bowl, you play football, you golf. So what's your golf handicap? Are you a good golfer?
Honestly, right now, my handicap has went down. I was in the 18s. Now I'm down. I would say I'm down to like 13. But I'm not where I want to be at. But I'm seeing progress. I'm learning the game because that's the thing about playing this where you're learning like, okay, this makes sense to do it this way. This makes sense, it's like football. I can teach you football and little nuances that get you a lot further than not knowing coming in blind. And I was coming in blind. Now I'm watching and learning and listening to golf more, and I'm like, all right, this makes sense. I'm gonna try it and keep working at it. And that was the easy part, working at it until I get it right.
I bet your swing's better than Charles.
Yeah,
Barkley.
I'll be better than Charles Barkley. My golf handicap matches my age. It's about a 39. So yeah, I suck at it, man.
It's tough. It is tough. You got to slow a lot of things down before you get going.
Yeah, finesse. It's a finesse game.
Definitely, man.
But it's fun.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure having you, man. Obviously, we plugged the Speed Aid, and we want to give you a chance. If you're doing anything that we're not tracking, if you want to plug or give a shout out to, man, here's your opportunity, brother.
I'm working on a few more things. Definitely be in the DC area soon. I definitely do want to team up with a lot of podiatrists in DC because we have a product that we want to get out to the people. I enjoy helping people, and it helped me. So that was the most important thing. I love it. I appreciate you guys. I definitely keep you informed on more that I'm working on, but I'm working on more stuff to help people, and that's always my goal.
Definitely, man. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, Pierre Garcon, episode 88, Washington Football Addicts. It's always a pleasure, man.
Yeah, Pierre.
Y'all be good, man.
Stick around for 10 seconds after this, Pierre, real quick.
Yeah, after the drop, stick around.
No problem.
Go Rod, go Steve, go Phil, go Jill. Washington Football Addicts, baby.